When I was around 8 years old, this was in Nova Scotia. We grew up in Cape Breton, and I was around 8 years old, and I first heard the word God. And I was outside playing, and the person said to me that God lives up in the sky. So I said, "Oh, really? You know, what does that mean?" So then, when I arrived in Toronto and I was around 10, I had met this girl in my building that wanted to go to church. So I decided that, you know, okay, well, let me go and find out, you know, what church is all about. And even though I had a Christian background somewhat, but my parents don't really practice anything, so you know, I just kept going to different churches, and I found that there was too many inconsistencies. So I always had that need, you know, to learn, to know about my Creator, if there was a Creator. So when I was around 24 years old, I was in school, and I had met this young man, and I also had met, he was a Muslim actually, but he wasn't a practicing Muslim. So well, I also had met a girl in my class that was wearing full hijab like myself, and she had a face covering on. So I had asked her, you know, why does she wear that on her face? And you know, it looked so strange to me, right? So I said, well, can you tell me why you wear that? And she had explained to me that in Islam, you know, the beauty of a woman, a Muslim woman, is something that is so honored and respected that we don't share it with everybody, so we conceal it. And it's also, you know, backed up from the Quran that Muslim women have to cover. So I thought that was interesting. So then I said, okay, fine. I left it, and I had a relationship with this man at school. He was like a boyfriend. So I had later. I also had another friend. I'm not going to mention his name, but he was an Arab and he was Christian, and he thought, I guess at the time, that I was going to convert to Islam because I had this boyfriend, and even though I had no interest really about Islam, right? So he actually prompted me to learn about Islam, because he used to bring, like, he used to work at this gas station close to my neighborhood, and he used to bring me information protesting, going completely against Islam, saying that Muslim women are, like, I guess I should be honest and say exactly what he said, that are whores, and that they're allowed to have more than one man, right? And this is actually coming from the Quran, he said. So I said, oh, I said to this guy, I'm like, I really don't think that's true. I said, because, like, my reference point back to the girl at school, I said, it doesn't make any sense, right? And I said, why would you cover her if she was promiscuous? So I said, well, I don't know about that. So I said, and I guess in his mind, he was trying to get me away from, you know, converting, because he thought, you know, because of this Muslim boyfriend, he was going to marry me. Or it was like he was in a panic, you know, like telling me, bringing literature to me. He would bring literature to my mother at the store and pass it up to my mother. So I said, you know, I don't even want to read this. I said, I'm not interested in anything about this. So anyway, I just said, I got fed up, and that made me interested. So I decided to go to the mosque and find out about what Islam was. And to be honest, I didn't really find out too much from there. And I thought, you know, from what I did learn, that he was wrong. There was nothing in the Quran that stated that Muslim women are allowed to be promiscuous in any way. So I thought my journey ended. But it didn't. It actually just begun from there. So I went back, and I later found out that, you know, I was pregnant for the Muslim guy at school, and but he had left me. So I was now 5 months pregnant, and I was on the subway going to this new school. And from there, I looked up. I was sitting on the subway, and I looked up, and I saw Salia, the girl that I had met with the full hijab at school before. And I'm like, oh, I said, hi, how are you? And she's like, fine. And I said, where are you going? And she's like, well, I'm going to this new school. And I said, well, what one? It just so happened that we were both going to the same school now.